Well, welcome back to Clean with Kate. This afternoon, it's blowing an absolute gale, so I thought I'd come into the conservatory and do a little bit of tidying up. I went out in the garden briefly, but it poured with rain on me, so thought you might like to join me. Let's get going. So, shall we have a look at what we're going to be doing? I'm going to be doing some deadheading. So you can see the geraniums have been flowering really nicely, so I just need to do a bit of tidying up. I've got a bit of an assistant this afternoon. Mike has kindly volunteered to hold the camera. So you'll get a better view, hopefully, rather than just a view of my feet, which I know I've been doing quite a lot of recently. So let me just have a look round and see what needs doing. I haven't put a pinny on this afternoon, but I have got my old trainers on, which are full of holes, but they're perfect for this job because the plants will also need a water. So I don't want to get my nice new trainers wet. So what I'm doing is I'm just going in, I'm being quite radical, because to keep the conservatory in flower, I need to take off all these old dead heads. Also, it means you can actually see the nice new flowers. And then I'm going to be taking off the dead leaves. So it's September now, but these geraniums are still doing really well. Even though the weather has gone off a bit the last couple of weeks, it's not been as sunny or as warm. Because they're in this lovely unheated greenhouse, which is attached to the house. It's a Victorian conservatory. They're really happy in here. Whereas if they were outside, they would not be happy at this time of year. If you've got geraniums in the garden, you do usually need to bring them in September, because I've got one outside, but they do start to struggle a little bit. I have got some outside at the cottage, and they're doing okay. But it's a less. This garden here is quite a windy garden. So the only one that I've got outside here is actually in the yard. Right, shout out if you can see more dead heads. There's quite a lot of them. Just have to look out for spiders, because the spiders are also coming in for the winter. There's a bit of tidying up to do there. There's a bit of dead geranium there. Oh golly, listen to the rain. I should have brought a nice cup of tea in here. Maybe I'll give that as my reward. Right, I'm going to struggle, I think, to get to the back ones. This is usually where I need Mike's help. He's got longer arms than me. All right, whether he'll be able to resist. We might have to swap round. And then I'll need him probably to get the top row down. Golly, do you know, I might have to move some of these watering cans. They are a little bit in the way. I'm gonna get wet. This is where I get wet feet. So let's get back to these ones. So this is one of my favourite jobs for a rainy day, because you still feel like you're doing some gardening, even though you're basically gardening inside the house. Oh, there's a lot of dead head back there. Anyway, what are you doing today? What jobs are you catching up on? I've got so many jobs I need to get done. And I was feeling really motivated this morning, but as the day has gone on, I think because it's been so rainy, I haven't actually done as much as I'd hoped. I'd hoped I was going to go sort out my wardrobe. That's been on my to-do list for a while. And now the weather's changed. It's definitely much cooler, and we're sort of going into definite autumn now. I need to put away those summer skirts, or at least some of them, and start to get out the winter jumpers and the winter boots. Right, oh golly, I really do need to get this weed out. How did that end up in there? I think I'm going to cut it out. So I'm a bit worried I might damage the geranium if I pull it out. Right, that one can come out. Oh, I should have set a timer for this, shouldn't I? I wonder how long we've been going. Mike will probably be able to tell if he looks at the 4 minutes. Is that all? I've got quite a lot done in 4 minutes, haven't I? It's not a complete. Feel like I'm going quite slowly, but actually it's not bad. I have pretty much got round all of them. So, oh golly, I need to do that top row. Definitely, we might have to pause the camera so that Mike can lift them down for me, because I can't get to them. And they didn't get done last week, so I'd really like to get them done this week. How am I getting on over here? Do they need doing? Right, oh, that one still looks quite pretty. I might take that one out. And that one. Oh, they still look nice. Okay, I'm going to take a little pause so Mike can get the top row down for me. Let me just make sure. Do you know how to pause the camera? So Mike's lifting them down for me off the top shelf, because he's taller than me. And then, oh golly, look at them. They really do need some love, don't they? And I might try and keep them on the lower shelves for a bit. They've done really well up there. They've been growing really well. They're much more tolerant of the droughty conditions up there, and that's actually the warmest part of the conservatory. Oh golly, look at the colour on this one. Oh my goodness, that is such a good geranium. Let's pull out a little bit. And these have done really well. They're in tiny little pots down here, but they've done surprisingly well. They took a while to get going. And look at the colour on this one as well. This has been on the top shelf. These are ivy leaf geraniums. If you've got a sort of hot spot, which is quite droughted, and the ivy leaf geraniums are a good choice. They definitely cope better with the conditions on the top shelf. Anyway, I'm just going to swap the cameraman back. Is it still paused, or have we dropped the camera? Hang on. Let me get my snips.
Ready?
Yeah, go. Okay, so I've started giving the ivy leaf geraniums a little bit of a tidy up. I always need Mike to get them down off the top shelf because I'm not actually tall enough, and also we have got a step ladder, but I've got a really bad head for heights, so I do tend to wait for him to help me. So I'm just picking off any leaves that look a bit sort of ropey and giving it a general tidy up. You can be fairly, rough with them. You don't have to be too gentle. They're quite resilient. You can see how much they've enjoyed being up there. Golly, I'm getting wet. It's actually raining inside the conservatory, but they are bone dry. Woo! It is raining through the roof, so I will need to give them a good water. In fact, I could do with, what do you think? Do you think we should put them back up? It's quite awkward to water them up there, isn't it? Or do you think we should give them a good water down here? Something's died in there. I don't know what. Any idea what was in that pot? Oh, okay. Is that recently or a while ago?
Yeah, recently.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get rid of that. That could go under the shelf. That's not going to sprout for ages. Let's put a bit of water on these. Although it's raining through the roof, I'm probably going to get quite wet. It's now raining as well as blowing a gale. Right, that actually looks really pretty there. Let's find the snips and get on to the next one. So we thought we'd try something new. It's a rainy day, so we thought for entertainment, Mike said, would you like me to video you? So we thought we'd give it a try. I have a feeling though, you may just end up getting a view of the top of my head now, rather than my feet. But let me know what you think to the new format. Oh, this is quite fiddly getting these off. So I have to be careful not to cut myself because these snips are super sharp. And they're very good for this job. Just tidying up the geraniums. Well, isn't it? It's such a lovely thing to be indoors doing the gardening when it's raining outside. The joys of an indoor garden. I like to do houseplant care when it's rainy. Right, oh, I'm getting wet. Okay, I've got another one here, but I don't know where I'm going to put this one. Golly, let's try. I think they will need to go back on. Problem is we've got too many plants. I think they will need to go back on the top shelf once I've had a good water. Oh, let's give this one a water because then this evening they can go, when they've drained, they can go back on the top shelf. It's quite hard to water them on the top shelf because you have to get above them really to water them. Probably need to look out for one of those really nice long-handled watering cans. Just going to water all these because they're looking really dry, despite the fact it's raining inside the conservatory. Right. Okay, next one. One more to go. Golly, look at this one. That is such a mess. I might just have a go at pulling that one off. The nice good thing about deadheading them is once you do, you start to really appreciate the flowers that are left. Whereas I think when they're messy, it's quite hard to see past that. All you see is the mess. Oops. Oh, we could get a cutting off that, couldn't we? What do you think, Mike? Could we get a cutting off that?
To do it, but...
Oh, okay. I've dropped it. You don't think so?
Well, stick it in that pot with the avocado bit.
Oh.
One or the other will grow.
True. I could give that a try. Good idea. Yeah, I'm not a fan of avocados plants, really. I prefer the geraniums. Could the avocado go in the polytunnel?
Yeah, if it
Would
comes
it?
out.
Yeah, because it's just, I'm a bit short of shelf space in here. Right, that's a lot better than it was. Okay, I've had a bit of a tidy up. Oh, there's a bit of dead wood down here. I think I'm going to take that bit out. It has gone quite woody, that one. Right, I wonder if I could squeeze it on the end, but then if you open the door, it'll get knocked off, won't it? I do need to go back on the top. Should we swap camera? Should we swap round? You could put the other two back up and then I could water this one. Let's try that. Pop that in there for a minute. Pause. I don't know how we managed to do that, but we managed to press pause. So the ivy leaf geraniums are back. Did you press pause? The ivy leaf geraniums are back on the top shelf, thanks to Mike. Do you want to take this? Still going. And I think the other ones have had a water. I've just got a tiny bit more deadheading to do. And then I think we need to brush the floor. And then we probably need to give the dogs their dinner because it is 5 o'clock and they're having a bit of a whinge in the other room because they think, well, we've had our afternoon run around in the garden and then the next thing they expect is their dinner. Oh, there's a lot of dye back on there. Look at this one, it's bone dry. You don't realise it, even though it's September and it's not that sunny, everything's drying out so much. Okay, right, I think I'm done with the deadheading. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to brush the floor and then I am going to water. In fact, I need to keep my gloves on. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of mess on the floor from the leaves that have fallen off the plants. I'm a little bit worried about that geranium that's leaning over there. It's very, very dry. I'm worried it's actually going to fall off there. So I'll have to be a bit careful not to so dry, that one. We could do with moving its position. It's grown very unevenly there. Let's give the floor as good a brush as we can. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better than it was. That is one of my mantras. I like to leave things 1% better than I found them. Progress rather than perfection. And these plants will really benefit from this tidy up, this deadhead, and this water. I could give them a little bit of a feed. I think this is just water. I don't think there's any feed in these watering cans, as far as I know, unless Mike's added it, but I don't think he has, have you? No. This is just water. We tend to cut back on the feeding at this time of year because we don't want to encourage lots of new growth going into autumn. We tend to keep them a little on the drier side as well because you don't want them to rot. But this one is a bit too dry. Let's give it some water. And then throughout winter, we tend to keep them very dry because the problem is if they're sat in water over winter, they have a tendency to rot. Right. Right, how are we doing? That's not bad, is it? That's not bad, it's better. Good. I could get the vacuum cleaner out and run it round, or I could make a cup of tea. What do you think? Which one is it going to be? What do you... Let's tidy up. Let's put the chairs in. Do you fancy a cup of tea in the conservatory? Golly, look at the table. I need to give the table a brush. I've not spotted how messy the table is. Can't have a cup of tea on there, can we? Let's give the table a really quick little brush up. Oh, nearly there. I think Mike's earned a cup of tea, don't you? I think as soon as the sun's come out, we'll feed the dogs and then we shall have a cup of tea in the conservatory. Anyway, thanks for joining me. It's looking a lot better. Hope you're getting lots done in your house. The sun has come out, the rain has stopped, and it sounds like the wind is dying down. So thanks for joining me in the conservatory. Bye for now.